raise prices. The legendary investor Marc Andreessen, the legendary venture capital investor, legendary entrepreneur, an engineer, and he went on Tim Ferriss's show, on Tim Ferriss's podcast, and Tim Ferriss asked what he would put on a billboard. Marc Andreessen's reply was, I've got one. I've actually thought about hiring a skywriter to do this one. Right in the heart of San Francisco would be a billboard with just 2 words on it: raise prices. A lot of people who listen to this podcast, who listen to the Edwards Show, they know of my Twitter X ads glitch. If you don't know about it, I actually made an episode on it, episode 80, where I show how to get millions of impressions and thousands of link clicks for $1 a day ad spend on Twitter X ads. I don't show, I tell. I say, these are the settings that I've used. These are some of the things that I've learned. Some of the feedback that I've gotten from that episode, and I give that all away for free. Some of the feedback that I've gotten was, can you show us you doing it? Like actually make a video doing it. And then people would message me as well. They would listen. They would have all these problems. And so what I did is I made a TikTok series on it, a course on how to do it. It's a 20-minute course and it's $4.99. And I show myself implementing the settings. I show the ads I've used. I show what I've sold with the ads. So I show the copy and the creatives. I show what I've sold. And I talk about the edge cases and lessons I've learned. And I show all of this. So if the podcast isn't good enough, if the free podcast isn't good enough, you can pay $4.99 and you can watch me do it. You can look at the exact settings that I put. You can hear me expound on them. You can see my ads. You can hear the things that I've sold or that I've advertised. You can hear all of that. If you want to see it, it's just on my TikTok, Build in Public on TikTok. If you search building a house, Build in Public on TikTok, find my profile. The series is right there at the top of my profile. And if you don't, it's fine as well. That's not the point of today's episode 103 of The Edwards Show. Point of episode 103 of The Edwards Show is raise prices. Why? Because there was this, I woke up to a negative review on that among positive reviews. And I know you can't please everybody, but here's what I realized. I realized that if you price yourself high, so not $4.99, and I'm going to leave it at $4.99 because I can't change it. You can't change the price of a series on TikTok. So I would have to take it down and then re-upload it and do all of that stuff again. And I don't know if I want to do that. Though I am considering it. I'll be honest. I am considering it. But one of the things that I realized was if you price yourself higher, you get better customers. If your price is higher, a lot of people think they won't have as many customers, but they actually, well, let me let Marc Andreessen explain it, because Marc Andreessen, he expounded on his raise prices at Vice. He expounded on this. So this is what he says. He says, the number one thing, just the theme, and we see it everywhere, the number one theme with our companies, because, he has portfolio companies. He has companies that his firm, Andreessen Horowitz, has invested in. The number one theme with our companies have when they get really struggling is they are not charging enough for their product. It has become absolutely conventional wisdom in Silicon Valley that the way to succeed is to price your product as low as possible under the theory that if it's low priced, everybody can buy it, and that's how you get the volume. And we just see over and over and over again people failing with that because they get in the problem we call too hungry to eat. That's horrible. Too hungry to eat. They don't charge enough for their product to be able to afford the sales and marketing required to actually get anybody to buy it. And so they can't afford to hire the sales rep to go sell their product. They can't afford to buy the TV commercial, whatever it is. They can't afford to go acquire customers. And that's the quote. A few things I preach on this show: organic marketing, which has actually a higher conversion rate. It's way more cost effective and can get you way more volume by doing a bottom of funnel search engine optimization strategy where people are searching for a use case. They know what they want. They don't know the brand who will give it to them. They are purchase intent, money in hand. I just need to know the product so I can pay for it. That's actually more effective and that's evergreen. But yeah, you need to pay for your expenses month to month, or you need to outsource that. You're paying a firm to set that up. And so you need more money. You gotta raise prices. And this is what Marc Andreessen is saying. Like you need to be able to feed yourself. You need to be able to feed your team. And there are other benefits. There are other benefits as well. Like I said, you attract better customers. You attract the people who value what you do, and that's something that I just learned. I should have priced this 3 times as much. That probably would have been a good starting price for this, and then I could have gone from there. You and your team enjoy work more when things are priced more, because not just because you're making more money and you're not too hungry to eat, but because you're working with customers who value what you do. That's so important, and who don't treat you like a commodity. God, ah. And then you can invest more in growing your business. You can expand your marketing funnel, pay better people, hire salespeople, and just enjoy life more. Charge more, raise prices. It's such a great lesson. For me, it's just like the thing that I've learned is really like when you price yourself low, you think you're going to make more money. Probably not true. There's another thing that I heard that I really like, which is I want to tell one more story about pricing. This is from a year and a half ago. I had just gotten back to New York City after being outside of the United States for 3 years. I left the country for 3 years while traveling through Europe. It wasn't supposed to be 3 years, but I got stuck in Ukraine during lockdowns, and that lasted 2 years. So I was living in Kiev for 2 years. It was great, but the world had to come back, and I was living there. So I ended up being out of the country. It was supposed to be 3 months. It was 3 years. I came back, and I met with somebody who prices clothes at Yves Saint Laurent. I met him at Soho House. We met on the app. He was visiting New York. He's like, "Hey, I'm visiting. Any other members, any other Soho House members want to meet?" I'm like, "I'll meet. Let's do coffee." So we got coffee. And he told me how he learned to price things at Yves Saint Laurent. And he had a mentor who taught him this. And this is what I'll end this episode with, this lesson. I think he was this was a year ago. I'll tell this story again and I'll check my exact journal entry. But there was basically like these gloves and a shirt and boots. And I think he wanted to sell the gloves for 5,000, the boots for 15,000, and the shirt for 15,000 as well. It was a very special outfit. And his mentor, who also worked at the company, said, "Double the prices." And he's like, "What? Double? That's crazy. That's too much. Double the prices." And the mentor said, "Look, the people who are going to pay 5,000 for these gloves, they're pretty price insensitive. They will also pay 10,000. If they can afford to spend $15,000 on boots, they can afford to spend 30. I thought that was a really, really cool lesson. And it's not the same with if you price yourself low. If you price yourself low, you'll just get a lot of bad buyers. And the ones who it's kind of the Pareto principle. And the ones who would have paid the most for your product, if you had just priced yourself high to begin with, those people would have made up for the lost sales by far for the people that you priced out. This is episode 103 of The Edward Show. Lovely sunny day here in New York City. I'm going to go get a new iPhone. Pretty excited and take some amazing pictures of my laptop and my workspace and put them up everywhere. I like showing my workspace. I like showing my work. I like talking about work. For me, work is fun. It's fun for me. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, raise your prices. Raise your prices. Let's all make more money. Raise your prices. Marc Andreessen, don't take the advice from me. Listen to Marc Andreessen, billionaire, legendary investor, legendary entrepreneur, Marc Andreessen. Raise your prices. Thank you very much for listening. I will talk to all of you again tomorrow. Bye now.